We did it and I got it the first time.
Woo!
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. We were shooting these crazy scenes with them. Some of the most fun I ever had making a movie.
You're one of the leads in the Jackie Chan movie.
Yeah. Oh crap.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode of Stuntmen React. It's a very special episode because Ben Wang is joining us, the Karate Kid from the new Karate Kid film. He's gonna tell us stories about making the movie, breaking into the biz, working with Jackie Chan. It's gonna be a good time. Ben, what's up?
Not much, man. Thanks so much for having me.
Thanks
I'm
for
really
joining us.
glad that we got to make this happen. Big fan of the show. I think the earliest one I remember watching is The Glitch.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
that's
You've been watching for a long time.
yeah, I
That's
have
a
like
minute.
distinct memories of like hiding under the stairs after like a Boy Scout meeting. You're like, yo, this is sick.
So we have an exclusive clip here. We have a fight scene from the new Karate Kid. Tony has generously given us for the show.
Thank you, Sony.
Uh-oh, ominous.
Yeah, wait, why is that stuff moving?
Just waiting for a guy to just come flying out from the side.
You a filmmaker?
Dude, nice.
Now you see me, huh?
Who is it? Hey, Mom.
Hi.
What, you get to fight Jackie?
Yeah.
That's sick.
Yeah,
That's so sick.
he's not just like standing with a cane.
Right.
This is the first thing that I shot with Jackie.
Wow.
This was, he showed up, like he flew in, and all the radio chat was like, Jackie's landed, Jackie's landed. And then it was, Jackie wants to drive himself, Jackie wants to drive himself. And they're like, what do we do? Do we let him? And then they're like, too late, he's driving himself. And then like Jackie pulls up in an SUV. We were able to beat out and previs a lot of this stuff before Jackie got there.
Yeah.
Showed him what we had, and then he was like, okay, good. Now let's do this. So one of them was right at the beginning. So you were like, those pots are moving.
Yeah.
Someone's there. That was Jackie's idea.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
the filmmakers were like, we'll show the windows open and then we'll go to your face and you're gonna be like, and then they're like, is that gonna sell that maybe someone's in the house? And talking, Jackie's like, too long. And then, and then he had two of his stunt guys with him. Paul, get fishing string. Jun, get tape. And then he typed the fishing string to the
Yes.
thing and he goes, shoot like this. And then we were like, okay, yeah, because it's Jackie
Yeah.
Chan.
Yeah.
And then he was like, now pull. And they're like, whook, whook, whook. And then it's that. And it sells,
Yeah, it
right?
sells. It's so
it's
good.
perfect. It's like economy. Like you show that and you're like, okay, that can't just happen from the wind or a mouse. And that spin I'm really proud of because that was gonna be a stuntman. And then we were shooting the previs and I was next door and they were prevising it. So I'm looking and both stunt guys are doing it and they're having a hard time. And I heard the stunt coordinator go, God, if you guys keep messing this up, I'm gonna get Ben to do it. And I know that was meant to light a fire under their ass, but I'm sitting there like, I think we can do this. I was like, something in my brain, I was like, cause I'm a dancer, I know how to spin.
Right.
And that's one thing I learned how to do. So I was like, I think I kind of understand. And then I was like, can I try it? He was so frustrated. He was like, yeah, get the thing. So I rigged up. And they go 3, 2, 1, action. He yanks that thing. The key is you spin twice, you catch yourself in time to sell the reaction, and then you flip over when he throws the thing. And we did it, and I got it the first time.
Woo!
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
nice,
and
dude.
then and then Paul was like,
I also heard that you have a little small martial arts background.
yeah, that's right. I started out doing after school Taekwondo.
That's how I got started. After school Taekwondo is where it's at.
And I've been doing Wing Chun for a while too.
Oh, that's awesome.
Did any of that help you prepare for the film?
It was very different. I'll tell you what I actually think was the thing that helped me the most, which is that I went to NYU for musical theater.
So Tish.
So Tisch, and I trained professionally in dance. Throwing a punch is important, knowing the proper form for doing those things is important to selling the fact that you're a person who knows how to do that. Right. But the discipline itself has a lot more to do with how well you understand rhythm and how well you can pick up choreography. So what Jackie added was the pot. He added the jump out from the corner.
Okay.
There's one swipe at the front. It was originally, it's a block, and I don't do that second swipe. But yeah, so he added that, and then that light switch kick, where he was like, now you see me, Jackie. That was Jackie. And he's like, I'm gonna flip you with my foot. He goes, I'm gonna go like this. I'm gonna go like this, and then you go like that. And I was like, yes, sir.
When we think Karate Kid, there has been a specific style to when we look at Karate Kid movies.
Sure.
Right? There's a particular way how the fights are choreographed and how the fights move and the rhythms and the beats. And then this one is, you're doing a Jackie Chan movie, and you're one of the leads in the Jackie Chan movie.
Oh crap.
Now you see me, huh?
One thing I always wonder about with Jackie Chan films, especially like with Mr. Chan himself, is like he's in this really interesting position where he's kind of like the Santa Claus of the martial arts world, where like he brings joy and happiness, right? He shows up, and his job is to be like fishing line here, make the pots move, and do this cool move here, and we're gonna do a spin and a flip, which is like, it's all fun and it's all games, but there's this whole like mechanism of movie around it also.
The magic of Jackie Chan is that when he wants to do something, the mechanism gets out of his way.
That's awesome.
Right.
Yeah.
Because the days Jackie are on set is also the days all the producers are on set. And then if Jackie's like, I want to do it like this, no one's gonna be like, no, Jackie.
Do you see that pressure affecting him at all?
No, you can tell when you meet him that there's nothing that he loves doing more, that there's no place that he'd rather be in the world than on a movie set. He loves everything about movies and filmmaking.
So, you guys remember Kill Bill with the big fight scene with all the dudes, the Crazy 88?
Oh, and also Kung Fu Hustle. The
Oh, and
action.
Kung Fu Hustle, yes. This is the fight scene that inspired both of those.
Through the table.
How old is he in this? 35?
Dude, Jackie Chan gives me hope for my fitness when I get older.
I wanted one of these benches so bad.
I think the reason Jackie uses the bench so much is because it's like a common prop in Peking opera and those like Peking acrobatics. It's something that he's familiar with.
Ah, fingers,
Window.
fingers.
Yeah.
Get him out of the way. God,
That chipper is...
to the floor.
Yes.
He hits it so hard. Jackie like managed to figure out like the YouTube attention span for like films back before films were doing
Nice.
that stuff. Where it's like, it's like I need to tell all these beats in the next 5 seconds.
Yes.
How can I stack all these like visual symbols in a way to get the story to you while also giving you a cool fight scene? We've complained about this a lot in this show, but it's like story, pause the story, fight scene, resume the story. Or it's, cool stuff, pause, lots of physical action, and then continue. And it's like, but what's the progress? What are the visual problems being solved and storytelling happening?
I want to hear my hot take, my hot theory on action movies.
Yeah.
I think action movies and musicals are the same, operate on the exact same principles. I went to school for musical theater.
Right.
And one of the things you learn, first of all, and one of the most important lessons is that in a good musical, the numbers, it's not just for fun. The point is the songs and the dance, they have to move the story forward. Right. They have to continue telling the story. Because I feel like that's what separates a great action movie from a bad one. In a bad action movie, when the action scene comes on, you kind of go, okay, cool. When can we get back to the movie?
Right.
It's very true, and it's tricky. It's tricky because
It's hard. It's really hard to do.
the same people that are good at writing like character dialogue aren't always the same people that are good at figuring out like Charlie Chaplin style slapstick. And putting it all together.
That's why it's so magical when it happens. When you get a movie that can do all of those things, it's like that's rare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He goes out after them. Imagine having a jump after them.
One of the things you know about Jackie Chan is that he likes to work really fast.
Yeah.
But contradictorily, sort of, another thing that you learn about Jackie Chan is that these fight scenes would take sometimes a month to shoot. Part of it was they were coming up with ideas. Sometimes he would go there and just think all day and be like, I don't have one yet. And he'd go home and he was like, the people making the movies and the people who were financing it, they trusted me enough to go, he'll come up with something. This is part of what it takes to make something like that. So they let him do it. But of course, It's difficult nowadays because with a big studio movie, you know, those are built sets.
Right.
And again, they have to go through steps and steps of notes. And so sometimes the sets aren't built, they don't exist until it's time to shoot in them. We do the best we can, and now we have other technologies like prevising. We can do more sophisticated wire work because you can now do paint outs. And so those things, we can use them to compensate and make things that are new and cool.
I don't know, man. You might be the growings of a new action star. I don't know. You sound like you.
I don't know if my abs can take it, man.
You sound like you learned a lot and you retained the information and you got the right head for it.
I'm a nerd about this stuff.
You got to be a nerd about this stuff.
You have to.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the actual nerds about this stuff will show up and be like,
Nah, right.
Yeah, you're right about it. Shanghai Knights.
I love Shanghai.
I think this is my favorite, and I think it's a contender for one of the best Jackie Hollywood fight scenes.
Absolutely.
But what I feel like is that the people who were making this movie respected what Jackie wanted to do and what he does best.
Right.
And so they let him do like this.
Yes.
Like that's all in a one. It's incredible. And it's also really beautiful. Like that's the other thing I love about Jackie Chan's choreography is that they're beautiful. And I feel like people don't talk about that enough.
yeah, watching a lot of like Jackie Chan's martial arts is like watching sleight of hand from a magician, where it's like, you know, there's not magic. You know, he's just moving a coin around.
Yeah.
Right.
But you can't quite see what they're doing, but the result somehow exists.
But like even a move with that fruit stand where it's like the first move is you sandwich him, the second move is you flip a thing. There's a certain satisfaction to like that sequence, like boom, boom, ah, yeah.
Yeah, it's like Spielberg's 1, 2, 3. You know, every shot always evolves into just one more thing before it's done.
Another great way to play with the expectation is when you think it's going to end, he does one more thing.
He's really good at getting wire work in the scenes without you knowing it's wire work.
Right.
Like that flip over the guy's back or over his back. You know, that's a wire, but it doesn't look like a wire.
It feels fancy, but it feels grounded.
Right. And then here's his love for dance.
His singing in the rain.
Kelly, yep.
Da, 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 da. Sorry, that's a couple $1 million for you guys.
It's okay. We've written enough fair use emails now. We've got it down pretty good.
We were shooting a lot of this stuff Hong Kong style, which is we were learning it, you know, a couple minutes before we were rolling.
I love that.
You have to really be good and on your toes. And the good news is we had one of the best stunt teams that I've ever witnessed.
I came looking for you.
And not to mention Ralph Macchio was also there.
Right.
And he's very similarly, like, he is the face of the franchise. He is the Karate Kid. We were shooting these crazy scenes with them on a rooftop, and it was just me and the two of them and a small limited crew, and it was some of the most fun I ever had making a movie. You're just literally training on a roof. Like I'm not pretending to do any of this. Like that's a heavy log that Jackie Chan is swinging. Just like the scenario in the movie. This wooden man. God, this thing. That was one of the first ideas, because we knew there was going to be a training sequence,
right?
And we knew that there'd have to be some sort of accoutrement of training. Stunt director came up with this idea of like a heavy wooden man, and it's awesome, and it looks awesome. It was like one of the first things that we knew about. So the props department built it, and it was real wood. It was just I came in one day and I saw two giant logs, and I went, okay. I was like, crap. And I was like practicing with this thing. I was like getting just bruised and battered up. Kung, 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 hitting, kung, 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 kung. And then we get on set, the props department was there, and I was like, man, that thing really hurts, huh? And they were like, oh, did you use the rubber version?
What?
Let's take a look at a Karate Kid fight.
And Ralph Macchio is so good at selling pain.
Yo,
He's so good. He did, in the first movie, and in all of them, but in the first movie, especially during that final fight when he gets his leg broken, like that scene only works that well because he's selling it so well. And that's not an easy thing to do. That's not something that any old actor can do. Yeah.
One of the most tiring things for me to do is act tired.
Yes.
It's to be out of breath and you get into that breathing, and the next thing you know, you're tired. You're
Right.
like, whoa.
You shoot these scenes over a week sometimes, and it's like you just came back from lunch, and you have to remember that you're tired, and B, your leg is in pain.
Yep.
When I did my little Karate Kid boot camp that these guys put me through for Punch for Netflix, did a little fight scene, a karate fight scene, and selling pain was the hardest part for me. That was the part. I was like, Niko, you gotta look like you're hurt more and like you're out of breath more. Because like you get hit and you're supposed to be like, oh, you know, like world-ending pain, and then immediately back into like blocking another hit. And it's hard to not be like, huh, and just like make it a gesture as opposed to like, you know, actually committing to it.
Do you know the trick for what noise to make?
No.
I learned this one in drama school. This is one of my favorite things. So the trick is the lower on the body it is, the lower the noise.
Oh.
So it's ooh.
So you okay? Can you go on? Get him a body bag! Contact for me. Johnny! No mercy!
There it is.
Finish him.
Fake him out. Fake him out.
It looks so good too.
So different, like modern fight scenes.
It
It has its own flavor and it still hits in its own way.
and I wonder how much of the way it feels and the way it's shot has to just do with the constraints of them making this movie on a small budget.
Yeah,
And
that
having
part.
time constraints. I bet it wasn't easy to, because now we know it as like the mega hit.
Right.
But at the time, you know.
I think you had this. You had Rocky.
Same director.
Same director.
Rocky and this were the same director? I didn't know that.
But you can see how this is
That
kind of
makes
like
a lot of sense.
this
Right?
Is, yeah, right?
Yeah.
Karate Kid is like Shonen Rocky.
Right. it literally showed that Rocky.
Yeah.
That's fact.
Lee means to me what you meant to Sensei Miyagi.
To you, what is the magic here? What is the secret sauce that takes this and turns it into intention and moves and interesting looking physical motions?
You got it. It's intention and moves and interesting looking physical motions. It's really that. It's as easy as pretend like you're actually fighting. There's a lot more to acting than that, but really a great deal of it is just pretend like you're doing the thing for real.
Right.
Because what people want to see is something true. Film is a very literal medium. So what people see is exactly what they see. It's not like the theater where you can play with the imagination of the audience. But on film, no such thing.
Right.
If you want them to think you're fighting, you got to actually make it look like you're really fighting. Intention, making sure that the shapes look right and making sure that when you throw a punch, it looks like you're actually throwing a punch. You know, I showed up for training. I was pumped. I was like, they're gonna train me how to do all the fights and stuff. And I was like, what are they gonna start with? Are we gonna learn a kick? Are we gonna learn a punch? And then the coordinator comes in and I was like, okay, we got to figure out a pose. And I swear to God, we spent like a week figuring out. We tried everything, right? We tried this, we tried that, we tried this, and it's like.
I felt that snap. Nice.
He said to me, he was like, look, kicking is important, punching is important, but really for you, the most important thing is the pose. It's like you could fight sloppily, but if you punctuate it with a pose, like you're boom. And then the audience like, that guy knows what he's doing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You're right.
Even Jackie was like, if there's ever a gap and you don't know what to do, just pose.
Right. Do you think you would have done something like this before ever getting the opportunity to do something like this? Being the fact like, I grew up, I did Taekwondo a little bit, and you know what, I'm just gonna get a bunch of homies from my school and we're gonna make a fight scene.
I mean, that's been my dream since I was 6 years old. It's just hard because I grew up in Minnesota. God bless Minnesota. Not
Minnesota.
Just Minnesota. Oh yeah. Great environment, but not a whole lot of resources for filmmakers. I was an actor because those were there. There was a community theater, there was school theater, but for a filmmaker, honestly, what I had was your guys' videos. I grew up watching
Niko.
you guys.
Niko.
That's right.
Wow, Niko, you've been
Consider subscribing. Subscribe, please.
But no, for real, it's like watching those videos that you guys made, it gave me a sense that I could do it.
You're literally doing that right now for the next group of people that are going to watch this episode. The hero's journey, in a sense, is what happened, and Jackie Chan is your wise old wizard.
Yeah, he is the Wizard of Wizards.
Make yourself the Frodo in the room full of Gandalfs.
Let's put that on a motivational.
That's wow. I might tattoo that on my chest.
Ben, it was super cool of you to take the time to come out and join us on the show.
I'm really,
appreciate
really
it.
happy that I got to be out here.
Yeah. Guys, make sure you go check out Karate Kid Legends. It's in theaters May 30th. Ben was chill enough to come on our show and talk about it. It sounds rad. It's awesome.
It was my pleasure and my honor.